Hey guys, Ben from Small Town Life here. On today's video, it's going to be kind of a two-parter. I already filmed the first part, which was the dismantling and oiling, cleaning, maintenance, and putting back together of the 1022 Takedown or a regular 1022. It's pretty similar, honestly. But today's video will be breaking down the trigger group. This is the I have an aftermarket trigger group, but it's the same thing as the stock one. This is the stock one you get from the factory, and this is 6.5 pound, and then this is a 1.5 pound. Same polymer trigger housing, same parts, same everything. So it's very relevant, but it's a very simple process. You know, it's not something you guys should be scared of taking it apart. I kind of learned just doing it. I mean, it becomes habit, which is nice. I mean, when you're cleaning your gun, it just, you know, you can dismantle, oil, clean, and put it back together within 3 minutes. It's not a very hard project to do by yourself. Don't be scared, guys, when it comes to firearm stuff. Just do it, learn it. It's cool. And one thing you can save money on, obviously. Anyways, guys, let's break down the trigger group, and thanks for watching. Guys, so I'm going to take the trigger group apart after you remove it from your receiver. I mean, it's a pretty simple process. Obviously, the first thing you want to do, pull your trigger. Make sure your hammer is released. Release it slowly. So what that means, obviously, pull your thumb like that. Very simple. Then after that, basically all it is pretty much just pushing pins out. There's 4 pins. So after you remove your pins, basically pretty much just start pulling parts out. It's really not a difficult process. So after you remove all your parts, I like to keep this part together because it's pretty pain in the butt to put back together. So I like to leave it together. That's the, not the hammer, just the trigger and a bracket, and I forget what this part is called. Anyways, I'm pretty sure someone will remind me. So after you get all your parts out, it's very simple. Clean them, oil them, make sure there's no grime on them. I mean, this is a clean trigger. I've shot it once and I cleaned it already. I took it apart already. So what I like to do is grab some Strikehold or whatever oil you have. Rem oil works too. And basically just rub everything lightly with that. Even the plastics. Especially the metal parts, guys. The springs especially too. Even the pins. Isn't it a beautiful day today? I think it's like 1 o'clock. Beautiful day. Love it. Can't wait to go outside after this video. Go do some stuff outside. So after you get pretty much everything oiled and cleaned, like I said, easiest way to clean this is probably get a bowl of water, hot water with soap, stick all your parts in there for about 10 minutes. And that will like loosen all the grime off all your parts, because I mean obviously gunpowder. And then after that, wipe it all down, get a piece of paper towel or like a cookie sheet, and then just spray everything down with Rem oil, let it sit there, and come back whenever you want, and then just basically clean it, oil it, and then put it back together, make sure everything functions. And obviously if you see any parts that have any cracks, deformations, I mean parts aren't expensive to replace. And I mean, having a gun that functions properly is, you can't ask for better. I mean, what's the point of having a firearm that doesn't run properly? Basically using a bat, right? So after everything is cleaned, your trigger housing, all your parts, everything's oiled and to your liking, basically it's just all reassembly. It's not a difficult process. I mean, I learned on YouTube, obviously, which is what I'm doing now to show you guys. I learned on YouTube how to do it, and then basically the more you do it, obviously you're going to learn how to do it. So the first part you grab is your trigger, and then if you guys did take this apart, it's not a difficult process. I'll just give you a close-up of what it looks like together. Grab this, and also grab, did I lose the part already? No, it's right here. So grab this little pin, and then the spring. What we're going to do is you're going to insert this smaller side of this pin into the spring, and these 2 parts go in the back of your trigger. Make sure it functions properly, obviously. Then all you're going to do is grab your trigger and plop it down. Or not. pull your trigger through. Come on. There you go. Oh, I lost the pin. See guys, this is what happens when you go on camera. You know, you get nervous and shit starts to go wrong, but you just gotta power through it. I mean, you can't let your nervous side get away from you. So after you get your pin, you get your trigger pushed against your pin, you'll see how it's kind of, it looks like it's made to be, right? Everything's flush. And then you take the smallest of the 4 pins, and then you're gonna line it up in the hole here. If you guys can see, if you guys did take that stainless steel part out of the trigger, this is where it kind of gets annoying. You might have to use a toothpick. That's why I don't like to touch that. Then after you get your pin in, make sure your trigger is functioning properly. So after you get those parts in, next part you want to grab is this part, this spring, and then your mag release. This is an aftermarket mag release, but it's the same principle. So after that, go to the front of the trigger housing. See this huge hole? Plop that in there. Or not. I might have to turn the spring around. This part always acts up on me. Plop it in there. Take 2. Come on, be my friend. Be my friend. It's Friday. Ain't St. Patty's Day. I need some beer. There you go. So after you got it pushed all the way through, you're going to see it go below the level of the plastic. Grab your mag release. Obviously it's going to be on the right side. So you're like this. Grab it, push it up through until it hits the same level as the pin with the spring, and basically it's going to sit there. So after you get your mag release in, be careful because there's nothing holding it. Grab your bolt release. This is an auto bolt release, but again, it's the same principle. You're obviously going to see a hole down there. That's going to be the hole that the pin is going to enter. So you're going to plop it in there. Until it comes out. And then all you're going to want to do is you're going to see this hole? You're going to want to line it up with this hole, obviously. And this is pretty fiddly process. I mean, you're going to have to, I don't know if you guys can see through there. This is probably the most fiddly process of putting the whole trigger back together. You kind of just have to play with the auto bolt release and your mag release until everything fits together nicely, which for me it never does, but you know, don't be good for me on camera, you know, whatever. But I'm not gonna cut because this is pretty much how the process is, guys. Like, you know, I've taken this gun apart many times, but you know, there you go. So after you get all that lined up, you'll see the pin go in. Make sure your mag release works, your bolt release, you know, it's swiveling nicely. So after those parts are in, the next part is your hammer. And then, honestly, this is kind of a process that I forget, but I'm going to do it anyways. So this is your hammer, obviously. The orientation of this is obviously, this is your striking side. So obviously it's going to end up sitting like this, right? And then I'm going to probably just play with this because I kind of forget how it works. Great video. And then this hole is going to line up with this hole. So plop. Oh, that's no good. Jesus. It's like amateur hour or something. This, it basically just sits on there. Take the largest of the pins. So after you get your spring, the straight side of the spring should be pointing up now. And then you're going to see your hammer get locked into your trigger. Pull the trigger and then it'll release. So that means you did a good job. Did a great job. So after that, you're going to want to push this spring down. So basically, see, this is the bottom of the spring where it has that curve. That sits on the trigger housing at the bottom. And then you're basically going to push that down. And then you have your straight side. And then basically this is going to have resistance. So after that, you want to grab these two parts. You want to grab your last pin and then the part that sits up here. this is for your bolt. Basically what you want to do, take an Allen key or any sort of tool you have to push it down. Then I like to use my fingernail. Grab your pin, push your pin on the side of the spring, so now you can release the spring. You don't have to worry. Then grab this part, and this is oriented like this. Grab this part, and the pin goes through this part, and also goes through your bolt release. After that, it should swivel no problem. That's what you want. Then pull your trigger, release your hammer, or not. Release your hammer, and then this is your last part. This is your spring. I find basically there's this round bracket on the bottom, and basically there's a bigger lip on one side. That bigger lip goes on the top of your trigger. Basically sits in the bottom. It's kind of hard to. I don't have a light on me, do I? Here, see if I can show you guys. See, it sits in that groove at the bottom. After that, basically just bring your hammer back, cock it, pull the trigger, cock it, pull the trigger, cock it, and make sure it's functioning properly, obviously. So after that, it's a very simple process, guys. You know, the other video, you put your trigger groove back together, put the 2 pins back in the receiver, make sure it's functioning properly. There you go. Dry fire is no good for rim fires, but you know, for video purposes, shit happens and parts are cheap. So after that, guys, honestly, that trigger group is good to go, and it's not, like I said, it's not a very difficult process. I learned just by doing it hands-on. I took it apart a couple times, and I just researched the video, making sure I was doing it properly. Then I went shooting, and it worked flawlessly. Honestly, you'll clean your gun every time. You'll clean your receiver for sure every single time you go shooting. Your trigger group is not that big of a deal because, I mean, there's not much chance that grime will go in there. But, I mean, every dozen times you go shooting, take your trigger group apart. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. And oil it, clean it. Make sure everything's running good. Make sure no parts are going bad. Other than that, guys, honestly, it's not a very difficult process to take a 22 apart. A 1022, I should say. It's very, very brainless. Well, I shouldn't say brainless. I mean, it's a very simple process. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the only way I'm gonna put it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like, and see you guys in the next video.